All right, we should be live. So we're going to be talking about Paula White. Is Paula White being misrepresented? So this is sort of a last minute topic I decided to cover. I did a video about Paula White. This story is getting a lot of traction. How she has been exposed in right wing watch. We all recognize is a listen. Nobody is supporting that website, but they did drop this story first. That Paula White in a sense, said, "Donate money." Some say $1,000. That's what it looked like. It was on the screen. Donate $1,000 to unlock these spiritual blessings so you can have these Passover blessings if you donate money. And this is something that Paula White has done 1,000 times before. So Paula White is a known prosperity gospel preacher. Hey, sow your seed of faith, standard word faith, seed faith doctrine. Give this money, and God will do this in return. He will give you health, He will give you wealth, abundance. And Paula White did that again for the 1,200. How many times has she done it? 2,000 times. Who knows? But this story broke Right Wing Watch. As far as I know, they're the first ones to cover it. And then discernment channels picked it up as you would expect. And I don't consider my channel a discernment channel because I have sermons, Bible studies. The first 500 videos I uploaded to this channel were pretty much all sermons and Bible studies. So I do not consider this a discernment channel necessarily. That's more of my podcast, but I covered this topic too. Long story short, I was accused, and many discernment channels were accused of unfairly misrepresenting Paula White. Um, some people were told they were lying. Uh, they're treating Paula White very, very unfairly. It's not fair to her. You're totally misrepresenting her. Why? Because she didn't technically say you have to give money. She didn't technically say you have to give $1,000 in order to get, these things in return. So she didn't use those exact words. Therefore, you people are all just totally unfairly misrepresenting Paula White. So I'm going to address that. It seems like a stunning criticism. I would expect it from Paula White's followers, but I didn't expect it from this guy, Steve Kozar, from the Messed Up Church YouTube channel. He's the one making these accusations. So I'm not looking to pick a fight with him. I nothing against him. Matter of fact, I don't want to mention his name the rest of the podcast, but because I don't want to start a beef. But he did come on my channel and say that you're misrepresenting her. He called out Protestia and several others. And, you know, as a pastor, especially, but as a Christian, when somebody says that you are being dishonest, you know, you might you might want to defend yourself. So, are we misrepresenting Paula White? And I'll go through your comments afterwards. So let's just talk about who is Paula White. And by the way, yes, Steve does not. He says he's not endorsing her. He's not endorsing her. He doesn't support her ministry. Well, he says he's not defending her. It seemed like it, but he says he's not. That's fine. Okay. We all know that he does consider her a false teacher, but he said that discernment channels are unfairly misrepresenting her because I do want to fairly represent him. Okay. So in all fairness, that's true. Thank you, Gail, for pointing that out. So, who is Paula White? Well, just a quick rundown of her heresies. She is a clear false teacher. She has been teaching this word faith, seed faith doctrine. The same thing as Benny Hinn and Kenneth Copeland. She's been doing this for decades. She teaches the little gods doctrine. So Paula White claims that she is a little God. And because she's a little God, just like God spoke the heavens and the earth into existence as a little God, she and even you can speak things into existence because your words are vessels of power and it's the name it and claim it heresy. Okay. So she teaches the little gods doctrine. Paula White has stated multiple times that wherever she goes, wherever Wherever she walks, that is holy ground. So she said, the White House is holy ground. Why? Because I was there. Wherever I go is holy ground because she's God, right? She's a little God. Paula White claims to have traveled to heaven. She claims to have entered God's throne room. So she's been to heaven and back, and she tells people about it. Of course, she prophesied, like Kenneth Copeland, she prophesied an end to COVID-19. That didn't work out so well. So there's a false prophecy. There are other false prophecies, just like Benny Hinn. Paula White had an alleged affair with Benny Hinn. They were caught in Rome, staying in the same hotel, holding hands. So something going on between them in Rome. One of them was married to someone else at the time. Okay, and of course Paula White is on her third or fourth marriage. There's the female pastor issue. Obviously, um, all Christians agreed up until the 1970s, basically, that the office of pastor should be for men only. Now, someone who's 25 years old today, brought up in a Pentecostal church, they don't see what the big deal is. But the Bible says in 1 Timothy 2, verse 12, Paul says, I do not permit a woman to teach nor to have authority over a man, but to be in silence. And that's in the context of a pastoral epistle into chapter 3 of 1 Timothy, that the qualifications for a bishop or a pastor must be a man, right? And that is not cultural because Paul roots his argument. If you read it, he roots his argument in the creation, the created order that Adam was formed first and then Eve. So it's about male headship. So women are not to hold the office of pastor, but Paula White is in defiance of that passage of the Bible and so many others. So Paula White, maybe the worst thing she's ever done, she endorsed the Moonies cult. Okay, so Sung Young Moon claimed to be Jesus Christ, or he's carrying on the legacy of Jesus Christ. And the Moonies, if you just look them up, they're a cult. And Paula White affirmed and endorsed the cult known as the Moonies. If you look into them, I mean, they are way out there. They almost make the Jehovah's Witnesses look normal. I mean, it's that bizarre. But she endorsed the Moonies. Her and her husband encouraged church members to watch pornography. That's true. That happened in church. Her and her husband told, it was her husband who said it, but she was standing right next to him. He told the church members to watch pornography. And then Paula White came to his defense right afterwards and tried to clarify, well, he's not saying he doesn't want you to get addicted to pornography. Just inform yourself. So watch pornography to better inform yourself of how to, better please your spouse. That's what they said in church. That should be all I have to say. And there's more. Paula White has the scam. It's called the seed faith. Sow your seed of faith. Give $91. One time she said, give $91 for Psalm 91. Okay. Where does she come up with that? She wants your money. She needs another new sports car, another mansion. She needs her private jets, so she scams the poor, the sick, and the desperate. She is a con artist. Literally, she is a con artist, a con artist. So she said, in another example of this, she said, give $224 for Joel 224. It's like, well, why not $2.24? Because that's not going to get that new jet, right? So, um, yeah, Joel 224 says, the threshing floors shall be full of wheat, and the vats shall overflow with new wine and oil. So, God told me to tell you, give me $224, and God will give you increase. God will give you overflow. So that's her scam. And she did that again here with the Passover, right? This is what sparked this whole controversy. Paula White was offering Passover blessings that really were given to the nation of Israel. It's not even guaranteed for every person in the nation, but it's general promises given to the nation of Israel. She takes that out of context and promises it to her followers if, the clear implication of that video, you can have these Passover blessings if you give me money. Okay, so Right Wing Watch picked that up, and a lot of people have been reporting this. And I saw this article today in the Christian Post, and I just want to read it. But remember, why am I doing this live stream? Because I already did a video on Paula White and this scam. Well, I did that video along with 100 other people. Everyone's reporting on it. It's big news because Paula White is in this new office of faith with Donald Trump picking her. And she is literally the worst pick in the country. So a lot of people are saying the president needs to remove her because she's conning people, and this is proof. But those of us who reported this were called dishonest and reckless, and we were called that by another Christian YouTuber who does discernment videos, and it's crazy. So, but we want to be fair. We want to be as fair as we can. And let me just read through the article quick. I'll make a few more comments, and then I'll look at your questions in your comments. So, this is the headline from the Christian Post. Trump advisor Paula White Cain promises supernatural blessings for $1,000 donation ahead of Passover. So, this is the story that everybody is talking about it, or that everyone's talking about. And it says Paula White Cain, a televangelist and spiritual advisor to President Donald Trump, is facing criticism for a video in which she claims, quote, supernatural blessings will be released to those who donate to her ministry ahead of the Passover holiday. And by the way, yes, I did see the original video. I did watch the video from her channel. In a video titled Passover Season, God's Divine Appointment with You, posted March 23rd on YouTube, Paula White claims that honoring God during Passover, which begins April 12th at sundown, will unlock, okay, it will unlock divine and monetary rewards. She says, I believe that when you honor God on Passover starting April 12th at sundown through Good Friday on the 18th and concluding on Easter Sunday, you can receive these seven supernatural blessings for you and your house. Now, this is not true. This is taking verses out of context, statements that were made to Israel, from the Lord to Israel. They do not apply to people today. Certainly, they don't apply to every individual, and certainly not to Paula White's audience, because her audience is deceived. You're not going to get rewarded by God for sending money to false teachers. Okay. So she cited Exodus 23, and White lists that the blessings are number one, God will assign an angel to you. And by the way, some people did report falsely. They said, Paula White says give $1,000 and you'll be visited by an angel. Well, she didn't technically say that, but you know, I don't want to split hairs. She did say an angel will be assigned to you. So I don't think it's that much of a stretch. What else? God will be an enemy to your enemies, or he, whoever the he is. I heard some people arguing about that. Again, kind of splitting hairs, but okay. So God will assign an angel to you. He, maybe the angel, will be an enemy to your enemies. He'll give you prosperity. He'll take away sickness. He'll give you long life. So it's health and wealth, right? He'll bring increase in inheritance. So more money. So kind of the same promises. And he'll give you a special year of blessing. She emphasized that the act is not transactional. And say, see, she says it's not transactional. Yeah, except then she says the opposite over here. And this is what false teachers do. I mean, it's like if I say, okay, Paula White's a false teacher. Oh, Pastor Grant lied. He says she's a false teacher because I heard Paula White say that she's not. So it's like, what? Come on. Yeah, I realized she said this isn't a transactional thing. She said, you're not doing this to get something. But then that's exactly what she says. She says it all the time. So just because she says this, it's a lie. Okay, it's a lie. She says one thing over here and then contradicts it over here. So she says, you're doing it in order to honor God, realizing that you can receive your special Passover offering of 1,000. And this was the infomercial towards the end. For $1,000 or more, you can receive this as the Holy Spirit leads you. So you could give 1,000, you can give more than 1,000. Then she said for $125, you can get this olive wood communion set from the Holy Land. And people commented on how you can find these same objects on other websites for half the price. Okay, so Paula White is raking in the money. Now, her channel did respond, and I'll read that in a moment. But she says, give $1,000, you'll get this 10-inch Waterford crystal cross. And she concluded with an urgent call: do not miss your moment to release the seven supernatural blessings and provision in your life. So it was the clear implication, because she's done it again 1,000 times. Give this money. You got to give the money to unlock the spiritual blessings. So that's implied. And that's why Right Wing Watch reported this, because that was the clear implication. And everyone except Kozar, like everyone who's seen the video, uh, understands this is the implication. Now, a spokesperson for Paula White Ministries told CP on Wednesday this story is a deceptive smear. So, okay, that's her PR people, right? And of course they're going to say that, because nobody in the history of the world has ever admitted they're a false prophet. Con men, they're con artists. They're not going to admit, "Hey, I'm conning you right now," because then the jig would be up. So false prophets never actually admit what they're doing, obviously. But a spokesperson for Paula White, no false prophet in the history of the world has ever admitted they were a false prophet unless they repented later on in life. But her spokesperson said this story is a smear. Paula White specifically says in the very same video, "You're not doing it to get something." Yes, we realize she said that, but then she said this over here. And, oh, well, she says she isn't doing anything wrong, so she's not doing anything wrong. Really? Come on. We're, are you going to be that naive? And I'm not calling any individual naive, but I'm not buying this from her spokesman. So they said, well, in the donations, they said the donations do not directly benefit Paula White. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe they've gotten so much heat for this one thing that they've made an array. Okay, Paula, we're not going to give you this money, but trust me, she's getting money from all the other scams. I mean, Paula White is rich. Where does she get all the money? Doing stuff like this. She's scamming the poor, the sick, and the desperate. So the spokesperson added, while this response to your inquiry is not in her capacity, like, in other words, this had nothing to do with her new role as White House advisor. And, it's nothing to do with Trump. And then they talk about Right Wing Watch. Um, Basically, Right Wing Watch misrepresented her, but they didn't. That's the thing. Right Wing Watch, I don't agree with them. I'm sure most of you watching right now don't you if you know what Right Wing Watch is, you don't agree with them probably, but a broken clock is correct twice a day. So, Christian Post, to wrap up the article, they say in 2016, talking about some other scams that she's pulled. In 2016, Paula White offered her followers an Easter Sunday deliverance from a spiritual death sentence with $1,144 resurrection seed, and that's based on what? Where does she get this number? $1,144. Well, it's based on John 11:44. Remember Lazarus resurrected? Well, that's in John 11:44. So if you give $1,144, then you get this special blessing from God, but you get to give me, Paula White, your money. This is a scam. Obviously, it's a scam. And there's another video here. This is what I'm adding, not the Christian Post. Paula White told her followers to send in an entire month's salary. Get that. I mean, can you imagine if you went to church tomorrow and your pastor is like, all right, everybody, for the month of April, I want you to donate a month's salary for the month of, I want you to give me your money. I mean, the church would clear out. There'd be nobody there the next Sunday. Somehow Paula White gets away with it because they think, well, she's anointed. She's anointed by God. She's a prophet. And, no one's allowed to say anything because touch not the Lord's anointed. And that's another scam that is taking, yeah, the Bible says that, but it doesn't say it about Paula White. Um, that's taking Bible verses out of context. So, one last thing. In 2016, as part of an exclusive interview with the Christian Post, Paula White maintained that she does not believe in the prosperity gospel despite claims from some that she promotes it. That's another lie. Obviously, you can look up just about any Paula White video. She does believe in the prosperity gospel, but because she says she doesn't, because she says she's not scamming people, because she didn't technically say, "You must give me $1,000 in order to get the blessing." See, then I didn't do anything wrong. Well, I'm not buying it. And comment on the video right now. Do you buy it? Yes or no? Let me know. Type it in, Pastor, I believe Paula White. Or type in the comment section, Pastor, I'm not buying it either. Please type in one or the other. Okay, so that's the story. And yes, she is lying. Thank you, Gail. I agree. So she is absolutely lying. So let's get into a few Bible verses and then the accusation against moi and some other discernment channels that we're all just being unfair to poor Paula White. We're just being so unfair, misrepresenting Paula White. Okay. Um, Wow. I honestly thought somebody must have hacked Steve Kozar, the messed up church. Somebody must have hacked his account. Like, there's no way this is him saying this stuff. And it turns out that it was. And again, I want to say I'm not trying to pick a fight. But when someone accuses a pastor of lying or being dishonest or being reckless in your reporting, um, sometimes even the Apostle Paul did defend himself. This may be the first video where I've actually had to defend myself, but sometimes you got to do it. So, a few Bible verses. Titus 1, verse 11, the Apostle Paul says that these false teachers, what do they do? And this would apply to Paula White. They teach things that they ought not for the sake of what? Dishonest gain. Or I like the King James. They teach what they ought not for filthy lucre's sake. Filthy lucre. You got to add that to your vocabulary. Amen. Teach what they ought not for the sake of dishonest gain. That's what she's doing. First Timothy 5, verses 5 and 6 of chapter 6. Paul warns about people who are destitute of the truth, who suppose that godliness is a means of gain. From such, withdraw yourself. And that clearly describes Paula White. People should have nothing to do with her because she believes that godliness is a means of gain. Sow your seed, give me money, and God will give you health and wealth, and miracles, and this and that. And the only one getting rich is the person on top of the Ponzi scheme. So I did that video and I pretty much said what I said here. And Steve Kozar of the Messed Up Church and his supporters responded with the following statements. And they've said this to other discernment channels like Protesti and others. They've said similar things. Someone responded to my video and said, "This is fake news." They said Right Wing Watch spliced those clips together. She never said that. Now, did they put the clips together? Yes, they did. But they were not unfairly misrepresenting her. But this person says that it's fake news. Paula White never said that. And they said Steve Kozar debunked this by showing the real clips. So the claim is we're being unfair. And then Steve Kozar of the Messed Up Church responded. And I know I said I wasn't going to mention his name, but I just want people to know I have nothing against this guy, but he did this in public. So he put these as public comments. He didn't email me privately, say, "Hey, brother, just here's what I think, and can you consider this?" No, he put it in public, so that's why I'm responding publicly. But I'm not looking to, you know, start a thing here. But he said, and I quote, "She never said that. She never said that you had," and he capitalized the word had. She never said that you had to send $1,000 in order to unlock the blessings. How can anyone trust what you're saying if you can't even be truthful about this simple point? This kind of reckless reporting doesn't help anyone. That's what Steve Kozar said to me. So I'm just a big liar. I'm just a big liar. And Protestia and all these other discernment channels, 150 different channels that report this, we're all just reckless and dishonest, and we are misrepresenting Paula White. So I responded by saying, "I'm not sure why you're defending Paula White and accusing me. I saw the original video. I disagree with you. I mean, if this is your take that you just don't think it's quite accurate, that she didn't say, well, you have to give the money, then fine." But I said, yes, she may not have said the words had or have to, but that was the clear implication, as her program instructed people to pay $1,000 in conjunction with unlocking the promised blessing. So when that screen was up, and I posted the screenshot on my YouTube post, so it said, give $1,000. And then immediately after that, don't miss your chance to unlock the blessings. And based on what she's taught in the past, this is the clear implication. So I said, she's not being misrepresented. The idea that she's being misrepresented is just wild. I said, if you don't agree, fine, but do not accuse me of being dishonest or reckless. I expected better from you. So, anyways, he responded again and again, and just tried telling me I was wrong and I'm unfairly me and so many other people are just unfairly misrepresenting Paula White. And my point is not, I'll say it one last time, my point is not to clap back at Kozar of church. I mean, I've seen some of his videos. I have nothing against the guy, not saying anything negative against the guy. I The videos I've seen from his channel, I like it. I like some of those videos, but I didn't do anything dishonest. I did not unfairly and here's the thing, Right Wing Watch did not unfair and I'm not defending Right Wing Watch, I'm just saying this one time, they're correct, okay? I don't agree with probably 99.9% of what they say, but again, a broken clock is correct twice a day. I do not believe they or Protestia or myself or the 100 other people who exposed Paul White for this latest seed faith scam. I do not believe any of us misrepresented. And, if you think otherwise, well, I just don't think she quite said that. I think this is all very unfair towards. If that's your opinion, then probably not going to be able to change your mind. But yes, I did see her original video. Okay. So, like I said, as a pastor, when another Christian calls you dishonest publicly, you're inclined to want to defend yourself. So that's what I wanted to do. All right, we're done with that.